Hi guys, my name is Becca. Welcome to my channel. I like to talk about budgeting, money, all things finance on my little corner of the web. And today I am sharing my March 2021 budget with me. I am planning in my plum paper planner. I actually made this budget template myself. I ordered the budget planner, but I didn't really like how the budget sheets looked, and I really like things to be tailored to me and my needs, my specific categories, and I also really like them to be cute. So I make a sheet every month that matches the plum paper monthly subscription. So this is the one for March, and I just made a sheet that matched that. So I actually had someone ask if they could use the one that I made for January, and so now I've started including them in the descriptions. So if you're interested in using this little template for yourself, a link to it will be in the description, and you can just print it out and cut off the edges to make it fit in a 7x9 planner. Just a little freebie. I felt like I spent so much time making it, might as well share it. So I have 5 sources of income. I am married, so I have 2 part-time jobs, and my husband Jared has 2 income sources, and I don't share all of these individual sources because of just Jared's privacy, but I do share this miscellaneous category, which just is calculated for rent that we receive from the people currently renting our home. So their rent is $1,300, and then they also pay us utilities, and I think that in March, our utilities will be around $326. So I think that their portion that they're going to pay us is probably $1,626. And this is actually the last month. Actually, I guess we'll technically include rental income in April, but they are moving out midway through March. So this is the last month that we'll have renters, which is so exciting. We can finally move into our house. We've been waiting 6 months since we purchased, and I'm ready to get in there. So our total income that we expect to take home this month is $7,679, and this is lower than usual, or than it has been in the past, because I've just been lowering the expected amount based on taking out more taxes, and also in March we have spring break, and Jared is one of his jobs is a music teacher, so he won't be teaching for one of the weeks, so we'll have one less week of income. So our tithe is not a bill. This is our bill section, but it is the most important thing in our budget, so we always put it first, and we give 10% of what we actually make, so everything but this miscellaneous income portion, to our church and local charities. So I think that'll be $600. Our apartment water, this used to be our rent and water section, but in February we paid the last payment for our partial rent in March. So now we just have to pay the water bill because that's a month behind. So we'll have that on for a couple more months. And I think the water bill is going to be really high. All of these bills will probably be really high, or maybe in April they'll be really high because they don't always know what month they were for. But if you haven't heard, I'm in Texas, and it's currently February as I'm filming this, and we have just recently had the worst freeze I've ever experienced. A lot of power outages, water outages, and our energy usage has just been really high to keep up with freezing temperatures. It was literally in the single digits, which is unheard of, but that's a whole long story. But anyway, so I think all of our bills will reflect that. As we had to keep the water dripping to make sure that our taps didn't freeze. So usually that's around $70, but I'm going to say it's going to be $100 for February. And then my phone bill, every month that's the same. I pay it just to my mom because she is on a family plan. That's $44. The Wi-Fi for our apartment is going to be $71. And I always round these in the budget, and I'll put the actual number, just because I like whole numbers. And our electricity, this one will be high, so I'm going to say $100. And car insurance is back down to our normal $154. Last month it was high. Jared's health insurance is going to be $161. I think last month there was something weird that happened with it because he didn't fill out his health incentive on time that gets him a discount for basically being healthy. But he's filled that out, so hopefully it'll be on there by the next billing cycle. And then our renter's insurance is $12, and I am so excited after we are done, probably by May, because I know in April we'll have some bills from the portion of March when we did live in the apartment, but to get all of these extra bills off of our bills, and then we'll just have one section of bills, and it'll be way smaller and lots less to keep track of. So very excited for that. Our mortgage is $1,200 on our house, and the Wi-Fi is $70. Water, sewer, and trash. Again, I don't know how much this is going to be. I'm going to say 100 because I don't think that this will be actually impacted by the freeze. I think that that'll actually be on the bill in April. Our electricity bill, I've actually already got this, so I know that it'll be $128 and some change. So I'm just going to put $129, and the same with the natural gas, $78. So that total for all of our bills is $2,819, and this number has dropped drastically already because we're not paying for rent. That was $1,335, so that has lowered our bills section by a lot. And then our expenses. So things are going to be a little weird this month for several reasons. So we are moving, and then before we move, we are actually supposed to take a trip out of the country. We booked a trip to Mexico, to Tulum, earlier, and I still don't know if that's actually going to happen. We are debating whether it's safe, if it's a wise choice, but we booked it because we actually got COVID, and then we kind of were like, well, at this point we think we have immunity for a little while, and we have so many travel credits that are going to expire from last year when we were supposed to take a honeymoon. So let's just book a trip, and then we found a really good deal, and we just wanted to kind of get out of here. So we're supposed to go to Tulum for kind of like the second week in March because Jared's on spring break, and then the week after that we come back, or right after that we come back and we move out of our apartment, but the renter's lease doesn't actually end until the week after that, and we still want to do some renovations to our house before we move in. We initially were going to stay in our apartment, but when we found out the rental rate was $2,000 to stay one extra month, we were like, we're not going to do that. So we're just going to stay with family while we do the renovations, but that means that all of our bills are going to be kind of wonky. So, sorry, that was a long explanation for just like these expenses. Our grocery and household, usually I budget $400. I upped it to $420 recently, but I think that this month it's actually going to be way closer to $200 because a week on our trip, and then when we're staying with family, we won't have as many grocery costs because we can't buy and freeze like extra food that usually I would do. So that's just a guess. We'll see. Same with for eating out. I put the normal amount of $180. I don't know if this will be more or less because of just the move and a lot of unknowns, but I'm keeping it the same because I think it'll be less because we'll be on vacation. Obviously, the vacation eating out would be part of our travel budget. So hopefully it's around this. Gas, I'm just putting $50. We don't usually spend a lot on gas, and we won't be there we'll be kind of out for vacation. And then Jared's allowance, usually I have been giving him $75 because he was like putting extra money aside to save for a guitar, but we actually saved or received all the money to do that in February, so we've already purchased that, and you'll see that in my February wrap up, but now he's done with that. But his phone is terrible. He has an iPhone 6S, and so we are trying to replace that and probably get the same phone that I have, which I just recently got in October. I really love it. It's just the what is it called? The most basic new one that they came out. Oh, the SE. Sorry, the iPhone SE. That it was $400, and it has like the same internal hardware as like I think the newest 11, but it's smaller and cheaper. So that worked well for me, and so we're probably gonna get him that. But I don't think we're gonna purchase it in March just because we have so many other really big expenses. But we're gonna put some money aside, so we're gonna give him $200. And then my allowance is $100 as normal. And this is only our third month of trying this, or really second. So we'll see if we continue to like that and see how it goes. Subscriptions will be back down to normal this month, around $60. Gifts, I think we're going to only spend $50. We have one nephew whose birthday is in March. And then travel. This is the one that is going to be really big. Initially, because we're actually traveling, I was going to put like $200 or $300 here just for things that we were going to buy on the trip. But now I have learned the cost of, if you are traveling back to the U.S. from a different country, you have to have a negative COVID test on entry. And I called our resort where we were going to stay to see how much those cost, and they're $200 per person. So that's kind of our hang up, is like, are we going to go? That's $400 extra to spend. Kind of feels silly, but we'll see if we do it. But as of right now, I'm definitely budgeting for it because I don't like to not budget for something and then have to spend on it. But I am putting $600 in travel this month because obviously $400 for the tests, and then $200 for other vacation things. And I know a lot of people don't, or look down on people who go on vacations while they have debt and travel, but travel is something that's really, really important to us. And yes, like, obviously our priority is paying off my debt, but that's our priority so that we can do more traveling and do more of the things that we love. But we also know that life is short and we could die tomorrow, so we don't want to deprive ourselves of the things that we love, as long as we're still putting like really good amounts to our priorities at this time. So that's just our personal preference. And then our next category is moving in a house. So this is going to be the cost of, we're going to need a moving van and a storage unit to keep all our stuff in while we're staying with family for about a month. And then any other house costs. We've been putting aside money every month for the little renovations we want to do when we get in the house. And I'm so excited. I'm actually going to do an empty house tour when we take possession of it, so you can see what it looks like before we do anything to it. I'm not a renovation channel, and I won't ever be one, but I love watching renovations, and so I will be sharing little things that we're going to do, I think, if that's feasible. But we've been putting aside money, and I set it up to finish saving the money for those renovations in March. So that's the rest of that amount, and that will be $1,400. Hopefully that'll be enough. I know that things come up kind of out of nowhere that are more expensive, so I just wanted to put a lot here just in case. And then miscellaneous, I always just put $100. So our total for our expenses is $2,940. And this is usually way less, but that's just what it happens to be this month because of these two guys. And then our savings item, so we are putting right now $100 to our emergency fund every month. We currently have, we had $5,000 and then we started doing this, so now we have $5,100. I don't know, we just started doing that last month, but I just wanted to slowly be inching it up because obviously with COVID things are very uncertain and you just don't know. So I think it would be a little foolish not to put any money in there. And then debt holding. This is a new line item. So like I said, my priority that we're working on right now is paying off my student debt, but I have about $13,000 left in debt, and there have been a lot of just kind of whispers around of just the government and like Biden canceling student loan debt, and I kind of didn't really give any credence to that because I feel like they say that all the time, and I was like, that's not going to happen. I don't really trust that. But the possibility of at least of like $10,000 getting canceled is seeming more real at this time. So I decided that I'd be really upset if I paid them off and then they canceled it, and I had just kind of basically wasted that money when I could have not had to use it. So we are right now, because there is no interest on them, they're in forbearance because all of my loans are federal. I decided to put all of the money that would go into my student loan in debt holding instead. And then at the end of the period, I think it's September right now, if I haven't paid it, if they haven't canceled it, I'll just pay it off. And I'm not worried about it. There's zero interest. So either way, we'll have the money. And then if they do cancel, I know that they were talking about you having to pay taxes on that money, so that way we'd absolutely have enough money for the taxes on that income. So I won't put it in this line item because I like putting it down here in the student loan thing, but I know that in actuality we'll probably put a bunch of money in there, so I just wanted to leave it as a line item. And then investments, we're just going to do $100. This is towards my Roth IRA, $20 a week, and then we do a fun little, just a little investment with just like single stocks. And then travel, these are all my cash envelopes that I keep, and I don't think we'll be putting anything in there because we're going to be spending a lot of money, but I like to have it just in case, like if we don't go on our trip and we do want to save some money for travel, we can make sure that I had a line item for it. Gifts, I think that we'll probably put $10 because my like monthly amount right now is $60, so if we spend $50, we'll have $10 to put in. And then health, every month I just gave us $100 for health costs in a sinking fund. And auto, I do $140. Our cars are older, and that amount makes me feel better. And then home maintenance and reno, I don't think we'll be putting anything in there this month because obviously we're spending so much up there. But again, I just wanted to have it as a line item. Usually we put 180 in for home maintenance because that is 1% of our home value divided by 12. And then the total for that category, I didn't actually do this math, so let me just do it really quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, $450. Glad that was really easy math. And then our student loan, or my student loan, which again is a priority, gets everything that is left over from our income minus all of these expenses and savings items. So this month that is $1,780. And like I said, I don't know if that will actually go here or if it'll go here, because if they cancel 10,000 and I still have 13,000, it would make more sense just to pay like until I got to 10,000. But we'll see what happens. Either way, I'm making sure that we're earmarking that money towards debt. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and shoot me a comment down below letting me know if you like kind of these templates, and if you think I should make more of them in more sizes. I know someone asked if I made it for, or if it would fit an A5, and I was like, I don't know, but I could start making them if people were interested. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.